This is a melody.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Miss Lauren here and Fuckery Friday Agwan. Honey, listen, we have lots of fuckery to get into today. You know, as always, big things Agwan, big dance Akib. So go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Enjoy this video. Alright y'all, so y'all know we always start Fuckery Friday with a blessing. Okay, honey? And today we have a special performance from the Pope's brother that's in rehab. Y'all, we give everybody a chance here and we are gonna welcome him to this congregation. Okay, y'all, enjoy. Thank you, brother of the Pope, for stepping in the name of the Lord, okay? Listen, y'all, many Americans are fearing for their lives as the Capitol building is being bum rushed by protesters and rioters. We also have Americans that are offering their hand to help and assist in these protests. For example, we have Lil Nas X ready to sprinkle glitter on everyone. We also have here Bobby Shmurda, who came to look for his stimulus check in the crowd. And we also have the disabled here to let us know that they're here to fight as well. Okay, guys?
Save our liberty! Save our liberty! Save our liberty! No guns to liberty! Save our liberty! Save our liberty! No guns to liberty! Save our liberty!
Brother Drake, even Stevie Wonder, says he can see the sweetness and zest in that new bang that you rockin' before Valentine's Day. Hey, Weekend, your new look is smoking. Now this week for the Mother's Ministry, we are bringing a special guest by the name of Keisha Kayor, okay? Keisha Kayor has set the standard for you ladies wanting to carry babies for these niggas in these streets, okay? $1 million is what it's gonna take to put a baby up in me. Come through, Keisha Kayor and Gucci Man and Baby Ice. Damn, I was wondering where the presidents were when all of this rioting and protesting was going on at this Capitol building, y'all. Look at them. What in the world were they thinking?
Who's next? Who's next?
Dr. Umar Johnson, the Morgue Ministry would like for you to stop leaving neck bones at the grave sites of Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, okay? We need you to go ahead and resurrect that school before you try to
That's
resurrect
right, brothers and sisters.
the
The
dead,
grave
honey.
of Harriet Tubman, she came to me in a dream. The first time I visited the grave with Brother Ross and Sister Twiggy down in Syracuse, the first people to bring me to Syracuse, also the first people to bring me here to the grave of Harriet Tubman once I got back to Philadelphia, okay, to open halfway so I could communicate to Queen Mother Harriet Tubman. I have to call on Orisha Oya, the mother of the storms and transformation and revolutionary changes and the leader of the GOONS Society, to let me speak to Queen Mother Harriet Tubman. Let me speak to the Honorable Frederick.
Our singles ministry would like to invite Kim Kardashian West to the altar. Baby girl, we knew it wasn't going to last, but we are here for you, honey. First Lady says that Vivica Fox is not allowed at service for the next 2 weeks for calling her grandson, Young Thug, a cockroach. The teen ministry would like to invite all teens to the Freedom to Twerk Fest hosted by Dr. Martin Luther King's great-great-great-grandson, baby MLK. All right, y'all, come on through. Nicki Minaj, your baby is cute and all, congratulations, but the church daycare says that your husband is no longer supposed to be picking up that baby from this church. So in this next story, guys, we have the woman that Nicki Minaj's husband raped on tape telling you people what happened, telling you people how Nicki and her husband are harassing her to recant her story. You guys go ahead and check it out.
So I decided to make this video because I feel like even though it's something that happened 26 years ago, I'm still living with the effects now. On September 16th, 1994, it was a Friday morning. I left my home on my way to a city bus stop, headed to school. I was going to John Adams High School at the time in Queens, New York. And I was met at the bus stop by Mr. Kenneth Petty. At the time, I knew him as Kenny. We grew up in the same neighborhood. My mother and his mother used to run the streets together. His uncle worked at the local tire shop that was there on Rockaway Boulevard. I didn't know his whole family, but there was a few members of his family that knew me and my brothers because of who my mother was. On this day, I went to the bus stop and Kenny was there at the bus stop. He asked me where I was going. I said I was going to school. I asked him where he was going. He said he was going to school. I said, you're lying, because I never knew Kenny to go to school. Kenny was a bum. He was a street guy. He was a dude that was always standing on a street corner. He was hanging out with street dudes. That's what I knew him for. I knew him as a street drug dealer. Unfortunately, this day ended up really bad because he forced me into his home. He violated me. And granted, this was only 3 blocks away from my house. I chose not to go home because I figured if I went home, nothing would get done. And I knew the kind of friends that Kenny hung out with, and I felt like they would feel that they could do the same. So instead, I ran to school. My clothes was messed up, my hair was messed up, I had a cut on my face and I had a cut on my stomach. And I told the officers there at the school what had just happened. They called for more police. They put me in a police van. They asked me if I could show them the location where it happened. I took them to the location, which happened to be his house. I did not know it was his house at the time. I had never been to his house. Kenny was still there. He got arrested. They took me to the hospital. I had to do a rape kit and everything. They took my clothes. They took everything from me and put it in a paper bag, and they seized it. When I got home, I was told, sorry, you got raped, but you should have screamed. Hence the reason why I didn't go home to begin with. When all of this happened, I was living with the foster family. And because I was living with the foster family, they didn't want any issues and they didn't want any problems. So they listened to whatever Kenny's parents said. Kenny's parents showed up at my house. They spoke to the lady who raised me. They told all kind of lies and said that I was dating their son, which I didn't even know Kenny's dad. I didn't even know who he was, but he claimed he knew who I was. The amount of stuff that I went through at that time, I literally had to get out of the state of New York when I was 16 years old. So when this happened outside in the street versus at home with so-called family members, I knew I had to do something. So this was in 94. In 2018, December of 2018, or 19, I don't know, he surfaced with Nicki, and it was a big thing where people started looking up his rap sheet and speaking about what he had did. Now, granted, I know he's supposed to register as a sex offender. I have nothing to do with that. That was the plea deal that he took. He chose not to register when he moved to California, and this is when all the trouble resurfaced. Nicki made a post on her page stating that we was in a relationship. He was 15, I was 16, and it was because of my mother, the reason why charges was pressed. That is a lie. I never lived with my mother. I wasn't raised with my mother. Even though my mother was a part of my life, she wasn't a part of my life in that way. That is false. We both, Kenny and I, were both 16 at the time. We were never in a relationship because my story had already been told. Hence the reason why he was arrested. He went to jail. He did his time, and he dealt with whatever consequences he had to deal with after getting out of jail. So what I spoke about, the reason for me wanting to speak was because of what Nicki said. And I felt like it was a lie. And if she was going to love him and be with him, then she should just accept him and that be it. You know, not speak about something that she had no knowledge of. I don't know Nicki. I didn't know her as a kid. I don't know her from the neighborhood. I do have family members that know her from the neighborhood, but I wasn't a street girl. I wasn't allowed to hang out in the streets. I didn't have very many friends in the neighborhood. I had friends in school, but not in the neighborhood because the lady I lived with was really strict. Well, in March of 2020, I got a call from a mutual friend of Kenneth and my brother, and he said that he could connect me to them and make this go away. And when he said he could connect me to them, meaning Nicki and Kenny, and when he said he could make this go away, I thought the agreement was going to be, if I don't speak to anybody about them, they wouldn't speak to anybody about me. End of story. Well, that's not what happened. What happened was, this mutual person offered me $20,000 to write a letter stating that I lied about what I did. I lied about Kenny assaulting me. And I didn't want to do it. I got a phone call from Nicki Minaj herself saying that she got word that I was willing to help them out in this situation because, you know, Kenny had got arrested for not registering in the state of California on state charges, and then he got out, and then federal charges were brought up on him. So she said that she could send her publicist, Joe, out to where I was living at the time. I have since moved multiple times since then, but that she can send Joe out, her publicist Joe, out to meet with me and talk with me about the situation. After that phone call with Nicki, the only contact I had was from street goons. I think she has somebody in her camp called Ganks. He was contacting family members. There was a lot of numbers as far as money being offered, but it was never offered from Nicki, and it was never offered from Kenny personally. It was just people speaking on behalf of Kenny. I have since had the U.S. Marshals come track me down because they got word that I was being harassed. to recant my story. I have moved since March. I have moved 4 times due to people approaching my children. If they're happy, I want them to be happy. I just want them to leave me alone.
But I do think that I was on my last year at school, and when you saw me at the bus stop sweating me. But then our lives just took completely different turns. I was like, we got into it too. And then, chill. But anyway, he did some stuff that he shouldn't have did. Gangs, no, Gangs, come here. Gangs, why? Let me tell you what happened. TT, I know. Gangs, listen, why me and TT was arguing the other day. No, Zoo and T was trying to argue, me and TT talking about if you ask anybody on the block, they would have known that's my piece. Like that. Like I was his piece. Wasn't I in a relationship with homeboy down the block? Or did you not?
I really like that, though.
Oh, wow!
That shit wasn't really.
Wow.
Hey, listen, look. You had a situation, but it wasn't really respected.
Why you gotta fight for a... No, I was not. No, I was not. I was... You know what, Gangs? Why he always been so a little bit crazy? What do you think it is?
Oh, that's just in his DNA.
That's just in your DNA? Gangs, no, Gangs, come here. Gangs, why? Let me tell you what happened. TT.
Street goons. I think she has somebody in her camp called Gangs.
Gangs, no, Gangs, come here. Gangs, why? Let me tell you what happened. TT.
Street goons. I think she has somebody in her camp called Gangs.
Interesting, y'all. Wow. Listen, y'all, I know y'all got y'all stimulus, so it's time to wrap up this service. And at the end of the day, I need y'all to understand that I have dime bags and lace fronts for sale after the altar call. Okay, y'all? Come on up and support your girl. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this video. Don't be late for church next week. All right, y'all? Fuckery Friday. It's your girl, Miss Lauren. Have a wonderful weekend. I'm out of here.